Hi, my name is Chris Parsons. I'm a science educator and evaluator with WordCraft, and I work with COSEE now on the evaluation of their programs. I'm going to do a presentation on the project evaluation of broader impact statements. So let's talk about what evaluation is. Most of us are familiar with evaluation through a performance evaluation, so where someone, in this case Santa Claus, is rating the performance of employees. So evaluation is often dreaded, especially that performance evaluation. But evaluation is much more than that. It can be very helpful. When I think about evaluation, I think about it as providing you data or information in order to make decisions. So you want to make sure that you're very systematic in terms of the way you collect your data. And the data can be collected about activities that you're doing, about characteristics of your audience, about your outcomes, how you want to change your audience, in order to make judgments about how you want to improve what you're doing and that it informs your decision making. The type of evaluation that a lot of us think about is a thumbs up, thumbs down sort of evaluation, where you're either looking at the merit to find out whether or not a project works, or you're looking at its worth. Do we actually need this? Is this actually making a difference? So why should you care about evaluation? It helps you connect with your audience. So whether you're working with students or teachers or the general public, the more you know about them, the better you will be to relate to them and to provide them with information or services that they actually need. It can also help you make your case in order to continue or to get more funding. If you've done projects in the past and have some evaluation data, you'll be able to tell a funder that, and so it makes your proposal look much stronger. It helps you keep what's good. We all have to cut sometimes, and if you have data that tells you what's working, then you can keep that part and you can trim the parts that are not working so well. And it enables you to tell whether or not you're making a difference. Are you making changes to your audience? Are you having an impact? There's also the Government Performance and Results Act, GPRA, which was passed in 1993, which adds some accountability to any funding that comes out of a government agency. So if you're going after an NSF grant, then you need to care about evaluation because the federal government does. You should also care if you're applying to NSF. NSF actually has criteria for broader impact projects, 5 categories within this larger requirement. I've looked at them from an evaluator's perspective and identified the words that I think are important to focus on when you're developing your evaluation. So the first one on advancing discovery and understanding, advance and promoting, I think are the 2 important evaluation words. So what do they mean? For advance, do you mean more of? Does advance mean better? Or I'm looking at promoting, so how well has something been promoted? Broadening participation of underrepresented groups. Broadening is the evaluation word, so I would ask someone to identify what broadening means. Does that mean more people? Does that mean wider, more diverse groups? And then what I'm measuring is the participation of underrepresented groups. Enhance the infrastructure. Infrastructure in this case with NSF meant partnerships as well as physical infrastructures. And what does enhancing mean? That you're bringing more people together, that they're working more collaboratively. For the next one, disseminating results broadly to enhance scientific and technological understanding. Enhance is the evaluation word. So are you being cited more often? Are more people using your results? Are they coming to you to find out about what you have and using that? And the last one, the benefits need to be broad and useful to society. Society is usually general public, but broad and useful, what do those things mean? And how does the society perceive those? And what are the benefits that they are getting, or what benefits do they desire as a result of your project? So where does evaluation fit within a broader impact proposal? This is a very simple schematic of a broader impact project and how you develop it. So you start with an idea for a project based on NSF's criteria, and you actually think about how you can get your research out to a larger audience and what kind of impact that might have. Then you would actually plan your project. And that includes an evaluation piece. So you may talk about the audience that you're going to work with and then also how you might evaluate whether or not you're having an impact. If you get funded, you design and you develop your broader impact project, and then you actually do it. And that feeds back into a loop. If you're successful, then it might lead to other broader impact projects in the future. So between each of these stages, there's some type of evaluation that you can do. So I'm going to start with summative evaluation, the evaluation that occurs at the end, because that's the one everybody's most familiar with. It's the exam at the end of a college course. Did you learn what you were supposed to learn? In evaluation terms, it usually occurs between doing the project and reporting back to the funder. And it's the evaluation that most people are nervous about. So what I try to do is encourage people to do evaluation along the way. So it's kind of like the quizzes along the way in a college course to get a sense of how well you're doing before you get to the very end. And that way, when the summative evaluation comes, you have a pretty good idea of whether or not what you're doing is working or isn't. So one of the types of evaluation is called formative evaluation. It's the prototyping or the pilot testing. Formative evaluation can actually occur at two phases within a project. So if you're designing and developing a project, before you do it, you want to test out the materials that you may be developing, hands-on activities that you might be asking folks to do. Formative evaluation could also occur if you want to sit down with an advisory group, let's say, and have them give you some feedback on the direction you're going. So if you do formative evaluation, then you can tweak and refine what you're doing along the way so that it works for the people that you're trying to impact. Front-end evaluation is finding out about your audience, either by looking at the literature and see what has been done already and what the research says about what's successful, or you can actually talk to your audience and find out what they know or don't know about your content and about the project that you're planning. So here's an example of a broader impact project that was tied to a research project that occurred in Antarctica. So the COSEE Connection Broader Impact Plan involved teacher professional development and support materials. So the teachers were trained during the summer to actually do the science that the scientists were going to do while they were doing their research in the COSEE. Then there was technology training and support because the scientists were going to call the classrooms and talk to the teachers and their students about their research. So we needed to support those teachers with technology. And then there was an online expedition journal, a blog basically, that occurred on a daily basis during the month or so the project was happening in the COSEE. The evaluation plan focused on the effectiveness of all of these pieces. And then the classroom activities and materials, what happened in the classroom as a result of both the training during the summer and the live calls and following the scientists on the blogs. And so what I did was I surveyed and interviewed the teachers at the very beginning of the project, throughout the project, and then I conducted interviews at the end of the school year to find out how they used this material in their classrooms and what the teachers and the students thought about all of this. So there's an example of what was planned and how the evaluation piece fit into the planning. To sum up, evaluation is an important and useful part of the entire broader impact process, and you can use evaluation to help better serve your needs, to make your broader impact project stronger, and to go back to the funder later to show that you've had a successful project. And that is what evaluation is and how it applies to broader impact proposals. And I thank you for your attention and your time, and I wish you luck with your projects.